Hello, guys. Hello. It's been a little while. Hello. Welcome to Doc Success Formula Solutions to Personal, Professional, and Relationship Puzzles. Guys, happy Black History Month. It is Black History Month. And so, what better way to celebrate Black history than to talk to Black women and Black men about Black love, about Black life, about Black relationships, about just being Black, and about people who are doing phenomenal things and they are making history. Maybe it's not national history, but it is history within their own homes, their own neighborhoods and communities. So this month, guys, I will be bringing people on and we will be talking about life, love, relationships, and making history in your home, in your community, in your society. Even though you're not making the national news, it does not mean that you are not making Black history. And so tonight, guys, I know you used to kind of seeing my little panel and the relationship panel, but we're going to do things a little different tonight. We're going to just talk to the girls tonight. Just going to talk to the ladies, the women, and we're going to talk about what's going on out here in our lives. So we're not just going to talk about dating, but just life in general. And so I have two young ladies with me. Others will be joining in. I'm going to introduce the first two that are here. I got me a millennial, y'all. You know, you got to always have those young babies because, you know, they think so differently from us. So I'm going to start with the youngest baby first. This is one of my babies. She's a fellow Rattler, as well as she is one of the new agents at Premier Coast Realty. So Miss Joyous Burden, will you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Joyous Burden. I am 23 years old. I think am I the youngest at the company? Oh, okay.
One of. We got some little 19 to 20-year-olds too, but you're one of the
Okay,
youngest.
okay. I've been licensed for over about a year now with Premier Coast Realty, and I love it. I love real estate a lot. I come from a real estate background, so I'm familiar with real estate and the ins and outs and stuff like that. But learning more and more as I journey on and becoming, I guess, better at what I do.
And when I tell y'all, I love this little baby right here. I tell her all the time. First off, I'm jealous. She's in real estate and she's 23. So she has her degree, but she's also in real estate. And I remember being in grad school and taking a class and never practicing. And when I say Joyous out here in these streets, y'all, Joyous be getting it. She is not afraid to talk to people. She's closed deals. She's listed properties. She's sold properties. And she's a hustler. She's a grinder. And I'm so glad she's a part of our team. And next I have Miss Monica Simone Williams. Simone, tell the folks all about you.
Did you do the whole thing?
You know, that's that teaching me that legally.
That whole government name. I know. I totally get it. Hey guys, I'm Simone. I've been on a couple times. It's always a pleasure. I'm also an agent at Premier Coast. You know, we tease Doc all the time, but you know, if you guys are out there listening and thinking about becoming a realtor, there's only one way to do it. Guaranteed to pass the test. So, but I've been a realtor for going on 2 years now, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of it brings you a lot of joy. No play on joyous, but it brings you a lot of joy just to be able to help put people in their homes, and so in making dreams come true, one household at a time. And so that's what we're here for, and that I'm sure you know that's collectively that's our why. So
Joyous, tell them your slogan. I think tell them your slogan. Her name, guys, is Joyous Burden. What's your real estate slogan?
Let me handle the burden while you have a joyous home buying experience.
Isn't that just so cute? I think that's so cute. It's like, oh, look at the little flip on her name. Oh, that's so cute. And in case you don't know who I am Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. I am a former college professor turned real estate agent and real estate broker. And so I manage a brokerage here in Jacksonville, Florida, but we're located all throughout Florida. And we're also in Georgia and Alabama. And so we are just going to talk a little bit tonight about just, again, being Black women, living this Black woman life, doing this black woman love thing and this black woman dating thing and etc. And so we just had Miss Nicole Bowen join us. Nicole, we just introduced ourselves, so tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I am a mother of five. I am in an interrelation, I guess, relationship. I'm married a half Israelite, half white man, and we have been together for now, what, 15, 16 years, and it hasn't been easy. We met in college. He came to a black university, Florida A&M, so I feel like he was on my side of the yard. But other than that, I can't complain. I mean, life is life. You know, we live and we learn, and I try to stay prayed up. Because
how many beautiful babies you have?
5.
5 beautiful babies. That's right.
Yeah,
how many of them are my God babies?
I've lost one child, but I still claim he's here because he's here with me in my heart every day. And so the other 4, they run me fucking ragged. Okay, they run me ragged. So, yeah, I got my hands really full, and trying to keep that love still in my heart.
All right. How many of those babies are my God babies? You know, I know my babies.
Them all. They a package deal.
They all of them. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
I started with that oldest one, Nia. That was my first.
Yeah, now you in her heart forever, ever. Yeah. She's in ever. So you know that.
So here we are with one married person. We have 2 single people, never been married, but one is engaged. And of course, I am married. Yeah, she's engaged, and you know, we're gonna be talking about all this. We're talking about all this, traversing this thing called love. After we talk about life, we got to talk about life a little bit. And so I first got to ask you, I got to ask y'all, girlfriend, are y'all all right? It's a lot been going on in the world, a lot going on in society, a lot going on just with us individually. So I got to ask you, how are you? Like, how are you coping with everything that's going on in society, in the world? You know, the climate, the political climate, the racial climate. So I want to ask that question first. How are you coping with that? How do you deal with that? And so I'm gonna start with you this time, Simone.
You know, when you were talking about that, it made me think about. I think you have to cope on so many. You have to cope on so many on different levels, and every day it changes. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, and I honestly never had this experience. We were my fiance and I. We were driving home. And we were actually in our neighborhood, and we went into the second phase. And we just circled around looking at the houses. This was right before Christmas. And we came back home. We stopped at the stop sign. And I remember him saying, as we turned, that there was a car behind us. And so we went around another circle, and we came back, and we got on our street, and this car just starts flying behind us. And as they flick on their light, so it was a police car, and then we pull in our yard, and he jumps out, and so he says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was so shaken, and I was so upset because all we were doing was riding around in our own neighborhood, and the fact that he jumped out, realized that we were in our yard because we put the garage up, that he had to change his perception of what you thought you rolled up on something. And so for me, it was really eye-opening because I'd never been in that situation. And so it made me really understand and empathize on a different level how it must feel day in and day out to be a Black man and know, even when you're in your own neighborhood, at your own house, how you're still subject to someone else's prejudice. And I was so upset that by the time I came in, I was like shaking, and I was in tears, because just like that, the whole trajectory of my life could have changed in my own yard just from him jumping out of his car. And I said to Troy, I said, that didn't bother you? And he's from Jersey, and so he says, no, we've been dealing with that. And that just made me so sad, because you see it on TV, but as they say, it never is as impactful until it happens to you. And so I think for me, as I look at the climate of not only our neighborhood, but our city and our world, it there's even a deeper level of sensitivity for me, when I look at the things that are going on.
So thank you, Nicole.
Well, I'm sorry you went through that, sweetheart, and y'all were very lucky that it didn't turn tragic.
Absolutely.
The current state that we're living in, I'm just appalled. I've come from Chicago, Illinois. I was born and raised in a place that I thought was so diverse. Everybody was somebody. Jesse Jackson, I used to hear that every Sunday, that if you believe, you can achieve. But I believe the more we do achieve, the more challenges that we are faced, because they don't want us to think outside of the box as African Americans. And when you are open to information and open to love and open to what the world has, sometimes it just boomerangs the ugliest effects. And I've experienced so much racism, I think more now later in life than I did as in my younger years, because my parents sheltered us. In the big city, you are in your own little bubble. Even though it's huge, everybody knows everybody. So leaving a sense of protection and coming to a place of Florida where you really don't know anything, know anyone, you have to make your own way in life. It just opened me up to a whole new book of racism that I wasn't aware of. Like, I came to Florida A&M to get that Black HBC college experience. I was so grateful because I swam in high school. So I had the opportunity to go to many white environments. And it was my coach who basically told me, Nicole, there's an alternative. You don't have to go to Iowa State or University of Michigan or Notre Dame. I mean, I had tons of scholarships to go to all these white Midwest schools. And I kept saying, I want to go somewhere warm. I want to go in another experience. And he said, well, we have some people that are down there in Florida. Why don't you take a visit? And it's something about us as people, when we get around our own culture, it's a sense of home. And I immediately felt that at Florida A&M. Like, the moment I came down, it was a spring carnival. So there was other HBCUs at our university. And it just gave me a sense of hope and pride. And when I say hope and pride, that carried me all the way throughout my college experience, where I had basically no issues until I stepped out and went on an internship. And I went to Knoxville, Tennessee, not knowing how racist they were as far as a community. And I put myself in that environment as a single Black woman. And I went through a stop sign coming from work. I was there on internship. Went through a stop sign, same experience with you. Cop came behind me, put his lights on. Now I'm turning into my apartment complex. And, you know how it is when you're driving and you finally get to your destination and your bladder just like, hey, ding, 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 we're home. And so I had to use the bathroom, not knowing this man behind me was a cop. And he's just like, you went through that stop sign. And I said, well, sir, I stopped. He said, well, that was a Hollywood stop. That was the first time I heard the word Hollywood stop. And I said, well, you know what? I'm probably guilty of it because I came from Chicago and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, go. And that was, and that's probably how I rolled through that stop sign. And he made my life a living hell because I did not allow him to dictate to me how to feel like a nigga. Okay. And he wanted to make me feel like I had to understand authority. He wanted me to get back in my car after I already got out of my car. I'm like feet away from my door. And he's like, get back in the car so I can serve you this citation. No problem. I get back in the car. I open the glove compartment. I get what I thought, because I'm driving a company's car because I'm on internship. And I'm thinking I have all of the registration, all of the insurance that this company has provided me with. I try to show him what I have. He's like, that's not good enough. That's not it. Just being a jerk. And at this time, I stayed in an apartment complex with other college kids. So they were like, she lives here. White kids started throwing beer bottles over the balcony. He claimed I incited a riot. I went to jail for going through a stop sign. He turned that citation into a warrant. told me, you know, and I said, you're only doing this because I'm black. You're only doing this because I'm trying to make something out of my life. You wouldn't treat another college white girl like this. He slammed me on the hood of his car, you know, tried to dislocate my arm. You know how they try to put you in the handcuffs and kind of rough you up? So at that experience made me understand how vulnerable it is to be a black woman driving. Like that was a shell shock experience. But I'm saying all of this to say that can happen anywhere. It doesn't. It's just us being in our skin. And Melissa, the question you asked about originally is how are we coping? You know, I just watched a little girl 9 years old being pepper sprayed in the back of a car calling for a gas. You know, I almost got my attorney who is my brother, my superhero, Benjamin Crump. I said that he's going to be the richest black man America has ever produced because they keep making him go for the money. Anytime you can slam a 9-year-old in a car and pepper spray him, anytime you can slam a girl at her school and make her unconscious by slamming her on the head. So we have a lot of things and a lot of responsibilities as black women, black mothers, black sisters. You know, it's to the point where it's overloading. It's too much. This pandemic only showed us that we can't depend on anybody but ourselves. Me and my husband have just been recently evicted out of our home because we went so long with waiting on stimulus money, so long with waiting with taxes. And our landlord just decided, well, let me sell the place that you've been living in so I don't have to pay the mortgage when January rolls around. So life comes at you in so many different ways. And I'm humbled, I'm respectful, but I'm angry as hell. Like it's a new day. I just want to do the work, what the Lord has called me to do. And I just want to push forward. And I want that for Black America. And I'm praying that Biden and Harris get together and really make some changes because fundamentally we're screwed. We're death by COVID. You know, we're the highest numbers in that, highest unemployment, highest everything. So to me, it's nerve wracking, and I just got to keep praying for. And I need people who understand positivity and can breathe positivity back into us because we don't have that as Black women. And I know I'm long winded. Sorry.
Joyous.
For me, coping with everything that's going on today, I just try to stay busy. Like me staying busy, regardless if it's with real estate, and real estate take up my, most of my time. But just staying busy helps me. I did lose a loved one this year, January. So me just trying to stay busy, not think about, that particular thing that happened. Yeah, just staying busy really helps me. And then when it goes regarding the, the things that's been going on in the world as far as with racism, when George Floyd was murdered, and so many videos was coming out. Some people was speaking out about, what has happened to them. They was posting so many videos. Social media had tons and tons of footage, videos about, how police have been treating Black people and how, civilians, white people been treating Black people, on a regular basis. And, the content was so heavy to the point where I see it and I, make my comment or I have, opinion about it. To it got to the point where it's I try to not even watch it. And even going back to the young girl that got pepper spray, I watched a little bit of it, but it just makes me angry, and it's, I feel like it's just nothing that I can do personally. I know using our platforms like social media, that brings attention, that brings awareness to, what's going on. But I think just trying to stay busy, trying not to think about it so much helps me. But yeah.
Thank you, Joyous. So Nakia, first introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are and what you do. And then just tell us how you are doing, how you're coping with what is going on. We're just checking in on you first. How are you, Black woman? How is it going with today's climate, culture, etc.?
Well, good evening. My name is Nakia Coleman. I am a realtor as well. I am a teacher as well. I'm a full-time fifth grade teacher, and I'm a realtor and a full-time mom. So being a mommy does help me in this time because I'm extremely busy with my kids. I'm just getting home from swim practice with my oldest son. So I have a lot going on, so that has kept me busy. And this, not knowing that it would extend this along with the pandemic, I just remember at the beginning, just thinking, reflecting. I just felt like God was giving us time as a people to get our lives back on track and, focus on what's important. I mean, when in history has the entire world been at a standstill across the board, and so that just told me he's not pleased with our ways, and he's allowing us to refocus and get things back right with him. And so I've continued to do that. I've said a lot. The people who went in the pandemic and come out the same. I don't know what to tell you because you should have had time to rethink things, redo some things, whatever that looks like for you. So it definitely has been great for me with my businesses and just spending time with my kids and being able to get up and read and work out and read my Bible and pray and just refocus and get in tune with who I am as a woman and as a mom. I have a new 2-year-old, as you can hear. So it's been okay. It's been busy. Life happens. And what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So life has happened, and I totally understand what Joy is just saying. Busy does not give you time to have that idle mind and really process what's really going on around you. Because sometimes if we really process what's going on, you can lose your mind. Because sometimes it is a lot, and life comes at you fast and it's heavy. But kind of surrounding yourself with family and friends and whatever your faith is definitely helps out. So as far as you guys are talking about the racism, um, I don't do a lot of the social media. I don't do a lot of news. I kind of live my life in a bubble when it comes to that because it is too much to handle. It is beyond the word stressful. Because I am a mom of 2 boys. It is scary. It is sad, and I kind of try to live in a bubble. Period. And a sad is not good, but it is just my truth. I just do that, and so when I do hear about things where it's brought to me, of course you feel a certain type of way, and it makes you aware of the times that we're living in, and things are still going on. Racism still exists, and unfortunately, it's still growing. But you just do what you can do as a person, and just try to treat people equal, and not participate in it. I mean, I feel like tit for tat. We don't return evil with evil.
Yeah, yes. And so key points that a lot of you ladies said. One, just starting with Nakia going last and working up. Like you said, you can only fight darkness with light. So we do have to continue to always just, in spite of, flourish, in spite of, shine, because that angers them more than anything. What angers racist, evil people is the fact that in spite of, right, still I rise. In spite of, we're still doing things. So that is so true. And then I think it was Simone that said, I can't remember which one of you said it, but it was something key that you said. And actually, a young lady I know that's married to, she's married to a white man. She said this to me. She said that she and her husband, of course, her husband supports Trump. And of course she doesn't. And she said that, and just having conversations with him, his friends, she said, what I realized, Doc? She said, she calls me Dr. M and I call her Dr. V. She said, what I realized? I realized that white people are okay with us doing okay individually. Like they're okay with us succeeding and, but when it's collectively, when they feel that that we're threatening their everything, what their norm, that's when they get like crazy. And I was like, wow, because they're okay with us individually. Oh, she's okay, he's okay. But as a collective, that thing it terrifies them. And so, I just was like, wow, you know what? That's so true because there are people who, and we know them, counterparts, our white who swear they're not racist, but they are racist.
My black friend.
Yeah, I got black friends. I got some black friends. I talk to black people all the time, and it's just, and people don't understand the definition of racist because, I like when people say Black people are racist as well. And I love to be able to say it's impossible for us to be racist because you have to understand what racism is. We can be prejudiced, but we cannot be racist. Racist is about power structure. Race is about when you allow your prejudice to impact other people because of your biases. And because you all are the power brokers, because you are the majority of society, you're the ones who have the power to be able to not allow me to have a job because of your misconceived preconceptions. And so it's just so important that we just understand that in spite of, we just have to keep going. To what Joya said, it's like sometimes it becomes so much. I remember Joyce just feeling heavy, that heavy spirit, just spirit was heavy. And it was like Nakia said, what I did was I just kind of put myself back in my own little bubble. And I tried not to just be involved in it. Like she said, I'm a mom of 2 boys as well, and so it's just like, dang, what world are we going to leave to our children? What are we getting them ready for? But one thing that I do believe in, and I don't know how you ladies feel about this, I'm a boy mom. I only have boys. People use that term so wrong, girl dad and boy mom. It means you only have that sex. You can't have both and say you're a boy mom. You're a boy mom when you only have boys. But anyway, I'm a boy mom, and I'm just always just like so afraid of like what are my babies going to face? But one thing that I'm doing, Simone, that I make sure I do, my babies are so woke. These are some woke little boys. Because unfortunately, a lot happens to our children. You said it earlier when we were offline, when we were talking to Joyce, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. They believe in equality. They believe that, we're equal. They believe that we deserve, and not that we don't deserve it, but they actually think that it's our right and we're going to receive it. And so our young Black boys, sometimes they operate in this place of confidence that threatens their life. Our young Black men, because they don't understand. They've never had to experience, they don't know about those things. And so I make sure that my babies are woke. I want them to understand you are great, you are a king, but sometimes we have to do this just so that you can get home. Sometimes you may have to not say something. Sometimes you may have to swallow your pride, and unfortunately, it's unfair. But it is a brutal reality, guys, that sometimes we do have to always just take one for the team if we want our babies to come home. And even sometimes taking one for the team is not sufficient. It's still there's still a likelihood that something could happen, but all we're doing is trying to raise your likelihood that you'll come back home to me. And so I'm so happy that I have an 8 and 10-year-old, and they can come in and have a talk with you all about race relations. They can come to you and talk about those things, because I don't want them to grow up and be like a lot of kids that I see that really think that this world is equal. They really believe that.
I think the problem, we're not that far removed from 50s, 60s, from civil rights and from the struggle. But unfortunately, they pulled so much of that education piece out of the schools that these kids don't know that, and they don't recognize it. And so because as parents, you're in a better financial situation a lot of times than the situation that you grew up in. And because you can give your kids so much that they don't understand the dynamics of the struggle. So for them, they think, if you're struggling, that you're homeless. No, you don't have to struggle and be homeless. You can be in a middle class situation. You can be the struggle can be emotional or physical, or it can be something going on at work. And so I think there's such a separation for them between what it is and what they understand, because they live in such a instantaneous world. Where they can go and they got the iPhone. You have an iPhone 6, because I'm on that iPhone life. But you can have a 6, and then they don't understand why can't I have the iPhone or the 12, or why can't I get the Xbox 5 when it comes out at Christmas? I don't understand that, and they don't, because in an effort to give them more than what we've had, we've given them so much that they can't connect.
There's no appreciation.
I have a
There's no
I have a
value.
question. I have a question for the moms. Do y'all think that we are doing too much to compensate for what we're experiencing? Because I realize the more we try to pour into our children with material things or things that are not tangent, it seems to do more damage. So, as a mom now facing with all this racism around, how do you all keep grounded and balanced with understanding material aspect of we can do more because we have more, or do you limit what you give your kids and make them struggle to appreciate what they have? Because to me it seems like the more I do for mine, sometimes they take it for granted,
Oh yeah, the
and
less
when
the
you're
less
not
grateful they are.
financially
Yeah,
able to
yeah, the
do
less
the
grateful they
same.
are. Yeah. Well, I'll tell
Huh?
you this. I have a lot of friends. I say the less grateful they are, the more you give, the less
Yeah.
thankful they are, the less grateful. I have a lot of friends who are doctors and pharmacists and some that are slightly older than me. So they have the college kids and the high school kids. And they tell me all the time, like, I did my child a disservice. Like my
Yes.
child had no appreciation. Like my child, I mean, they really think that money grows on trees. They don't understand. They don't have the value of it because, like you said, we're upper middle. There's no sense of appreciation, and that's one thing that I like. Me and my husband, we're making sure that Aiden and Alex listen. We tell them all the time, you don't work, we do.
That's
We're not
right.
into the Jordans.
Mhm.
We're not just not all into that. And like you said, like they're 8 and 10, they don't have cell phones. I know. Oh, but all of our friends they have. I don't give a damn what your friends have. You not your friends.
Mhm.
Like that.
They
I
all
mean,
don't know how to-
listen.
Yeah, I got a
How much
4-year-old
money is
asking for a
somebody in the
cell
bank?
phone. So yeah.
Like they got a
Hmm.
phone and ain't nobody like that don't make us. And I was just telling Aiden this the other day. They have $1,000 phone and they got $1,000 in the bank.
Who are
That's
you
not
Right.
calling?
smart.
Who
Yeah.
are you calling? I'm right here with you. Who are you? Why do you need a phone? Right?
Well, I
You
want
have
mine
no.
to have a phone in school because there's too many white crazy shooters. So I want a phone for my child when they're away from me to give me some sense of security. So I am victim of that.
I'm hearing a
I
lot of
gave my
parents say
child a
that.
cell phone at
I'm hearing a lot
5.
of parents
The
say that, but
moment
they
the
can still,
person went to
but if you let them
kindergarten,
have a
he
phone,
was
they can
able to.
still have that Junebug phone, that phone that get 5 numbers
That's
in it.
right. That's right. It was just something. I gave him the Obama phone. No
Yeah, that's
apps, no
all you
nothing.
need. You don't need nothing. Listen, because all you
But it
calling
was
is
a
me and
peace
maybe your
of
grandma, maybe your
mind.
granddaddy. That's it.
But it's a peace of mind because when they're away from you, you don't have any control. And so I wanted mine to feel like after watching Parkland and all these other schools where these white kids are so free to do and roam as they please. So the moment they get that rejection, everybody in the room is going to catch it. And so that is also what I wanted to ask you all as the more that we do for our children, is it the same boomerang effect on white children because they are already privileged and they're privileged beyond what our kids are experiencing material wise? Do you understand what I'm saying? And so when you go to school with people like that and you put your children in environments like that, how do you protect them? And that's why I thought a cell
And
phone was legal start.
I still go back to Nicole to making sure the one thing that like I said, when I talked to my counterparts, that they said was we did not have the conversations. We lacked,
Okay,
we gave, but we did not give with explanation. We did not
got it.
explain certain things to them. And that's
Okay.
why, I'm not going to say Aiden and Alex don't have nice things. I'm not going to say they don't have iPads, but I'm going to say that they get them taken away. They have to earn
Mhm,
them. And we have
mhm.
conversations about these things. And
Got
they
it.
have bank accounts and
Yeah.
they have savings, and there are certain things that I'm like, I'm not buying. You got some money in your wallet, you got a little credit card, you got to buy that because that's wasteful. Like I'm not
Mhm,
doing that. And so I think it's just a matter of having the conversations to keep that balance. You gotta, unfortunately, because we try to protect them, we put them in these worlds, and then when they leave our worlds,
mm.
we're putting them
They
at
don't
danger,
have.
putting them in harm's
Right.
way.
That's right.
The big thing is, it seems like this generation that they have no. My word just went out of my head, but they have no social skills.
Very
Um,
Mhm,
true.
they have, and I was watching a program the other day, and and it spurred a conversation around suicide, and I think
mhm,
that there's so many times that there are conversations we should be having, but we miss the mark because we attach an age to have that conversation. Well, they're not doing sex, or they're not talking about sex in school. Yeah, they are, and in eighth and at 8 and 9 years old, and so in our mind, we're looking at it from
Our age, from our experience.
our age and from our
Mhm.
experience, but because this is such a instantaneous world for them right now, they're so overexposed and they're so desensitized that they're having conversations and they're having, more importantly, experiences, and they're not understanding those experiences, and they're watching all of the rappers, right? And so, and they're watching all of the girls on these videos, and so they're taking all of these things in, and when they have what we would say as a regular disappointment, she don't like you, he don't like you, okay,
They're
everybody's
ready
not
to kill
gonna like you.
themselves, right?
They
Right.
don't know how, because we haven't given them coping skills, they don't know how to cope, and so they end up
Good point.
feeling like it's the end of the world. No, that's just the end of that relationship, that's just the end of today. And so because they don't understand it and they don't
That
know
makes sense.
how to deal with it, they
And
wake up
suicide
daily.
is up. Suicide amongst
They
us
wake up
is up.
daily.
Suicide amongst
Yeah.
Black people is
Yeah.
up, especially Black males. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know 3 Black males that have taken their life within this last year.
Yeah.
No.
So yes, it's happening. I lost a cousin. It's been a year. I lost a little cousin, 17. Like she said, broke up with his girlfriend. One of our agents lost her son. Depression. So it's definitely happening. You're right, Simone. They are not coping.
Not helping.
There's no social skills because we're raising them on technology. Like we're putting phones and tablets in their hands at 6 months old, and it's everything is.
They have the eye finger, is what I call it. They have the
Yeah,
eye
they don't,
finger.
they don't have any social skills. You're so right. You're so right. And so we just have to make sure that we are being real about that and having those conversations. Definitely. I'm gonna move us on to another topic. I appreciate you ladies checking in with me on how you're doing. So now we're gonna go on into Black. That was Black life, being a Black woman. So now we're gonna talk about Black love. I'm gonna ask this question because I always ask this question when we're talking. The first thing I want to ask is, if I were to say, what is your definition of, if I said, give me a word, a phrase, a sentence, like what comes to mind for you when you hear the words Black love? So what do you think about when you hear the words Black love? I'm gonna start with you, Nakia. Black love.
She thinks happy.
I think her phone is freezing.
That's how you are.
Can you hear me? Oh, there you are.
We can hear you, yes.
Phone froze. Okay. I never thought Black woman, Black people. And it's freezing.
Turn your volume up, Nakia.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. I think she just froze.
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hear me now? Okay, good. Okay, when I hear Black love, I just think about Black people loving each other. Yes. Uh-huh. Can you hear me? I'm moving around the house. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I hear you.
Hello?
You can't hear us.
Can you
Oh,
hear
there
me?
you go. Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes. Oh, okay. This is
Right.
Black people. Black love. This is what it sounds like. Black people loving each other. That are both African Americans. That's what when I think of Black love, that's what I think about. Just
Hey, Teresa
Black,
says she
pure
thinks
love.
about
No matter what it
children.
looks like, it's not gonna always be great, but it's love.
Okay. Joyous, Black
Think about
love.
what?
What does Black love remind you of?
I guess puppy love. I guess, you know,
Oh.
you first meet someone, get the butterflies, just feel something new. That's what I think when I hear Black love, puppy love.
Puppy love, that butterfly.
Yeah.
Oh, Teresa says power and genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Simone, what do you think of when you hear Black love?
I think of safety and support. I think those are, but that's also because those are things that are important to me. And so because that's important to me, when I look outward, those are the things that stick out to me when I'm looking at people in relationship. So I'm looking at and the conversations that I'm having are a lot of are centered around being safe and it's not always a physical safe, but being emotionally safe with that person, and then being supported not just financially, but again being supported like emotionally and being supported mentally. So those are things that are important to me. So therefore, I reflect that and I see that in other relationships
Thank you,
and communicate.
Nicole.
Well, I don't know. I think when I think about Black love, I think about God. Like I just think about evolution, the beginning of time, Adam and Eve. I think about how without love, there's no God. So now when I start conceptualizing what Black love is, I'm thinking Black love is God's people loving each other righteously. And so it's so on another level of that's the foundation, that's the root, that's everything we're lacking in Black communities. You see what I'm saying? Because without that structure and foundation, everything is a free for all. And so it makes me now respect when I hear Black love. I think of home, I think of God, and I think of my family.
Somebody said when they hear the word black love, the words black love, they hear broken. So we've heard genuine, we've
Oh,
heard power, and we've had broken. So when I hear the word black love, much like you ladies, I think of agape love. I think of unconditional love. Like Nicole said, it first has to be, it starts with a higher being. Whatever you believe in, there's no way you cannot believe in God. And we are goddesses and gods. And I think that we have to understand that. And I think when I hear black love, it first starts with self-love. Like you can't, if you don't love you, it's impossible for you to love anybody else and to emanate love and to be love. And I think that like someone else said, I do agree with Tracy, power, genuine, but I also agree with our Facebook user that said broken. I think that I think that systematically, intentionally, that there has been efforts to make sure that our love is broken. And I think that it's something that each person has to own and individually work towards repairing, though. It's time for us to stop pointing the finger at the black man and the black man stop pointing the finger at the black woman. And we have to, you have to first be responsible for yourself and who you are. And if you don't love you, there's no way that you can emanate black love. And I think it starts there first. And so thank you, ladies, for answering that question. Well, somebody used the word broken. Why do we think that black love? I mean, we know that historically, we know that that was purposeful. We know that the government, the United States government, intentionally took the black man out of the home, right? Because fortunately, they understood the power of the black family more than we ever did.
Right.
And so we know that that is intentional and strategic. But how do we get beyond that and repair those things? What do you think? How do we mend the brokenness? How do we, other than, like I said, first you have to start with yourself. First you have to start with yourself. I think first you have to start with you. And you have to be honest about who you are, what you want, what you need. And I don't think Simone, enough people are that way. I don't think people are honest about what they need and what they want.
People aren't honest. I say all the time, you can lie to me, but don't lie to yourself. And I think that people aren't having authentic, honest communication within themselves. And so if I can't be honest with me, I can never be honest with you. And so when we talk about repairing, well, you have to acknowledge what is broken. True. And you have to acknowledge your contribution, within your own household, what it is that you're doing to either tear up or repair that situation or that man or that woman. And I think, a lot of times we're not doing that. Joyous, you said, you sometimes feel helpless, and that it's just you. So how can I help in the bigger picture? And I think a lot of times before we can help in the big picture, we have to address the small picture first. And so we often want to jump out and make this big splash, but a small pebble creates a huge ripple. And
Mhm.
so, when we talk about healing our community, well, you can't heal your community if you don't heal your home, and you can't
Right.
heal your community.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, you can't heal your community if you don't raise whole people. So if you're raising broken children, they're going to be broken men, and they're going to be broken women. And so it continues to be a cycle.
Cyclical, right? It's cyclical. It's a cycle.
Yes.
I read somewhere that somebody said if you come from a broken home, make sure a broken home doesn't come from you.
Right.
And that was so powerful because many of us came from broken homes, and so I came from one, and so that's something that I made sure that I intentionally did. I came from a broken home, so I was going to make sure that a broken home did not come from me. And
I
so,
think you like one or the other. If you come from the thing that you don't like, you either perpetuate it or you stop it. It's always one or the other. Either you make it better or you make it worse.
Yeah.
But it's a decision. It's a conscious communication with yourself again.
anybody else before we talk about the next? Before we move on, anybody else want to add to that? So, like when we say broken and we're saying repairing and being honest with ourselves, and we know, ladies, we know that it is difficult to find love. It's it's hella difficult. It's been difficult for a long time. It didn't just start being difficult. Um, when you talk to women of the past and you talk to women of the present, there's such a difference. So I don't know if any of you have talked to, like I've talked to some mother-in-law, some aunt-in-law, some aunties, some older big sisters.
Old
And
school.
the old school, and that mentality was that they would endure certain things, that they would, they would
Yeah, they
be
suffered
there
in silence.
despite the extra children, despite the extramarital affairs, that they were just steadfast. They were going to stay in that marriage and they were going to be there for whatever reason. And I think that that ideology, that mentality has slowly dissipated. It's gone now.
Yeah.
We don't, right? Joy said, yeah, we don't believe in that anymore, right, Joy? That's just not what and as you go up in the generation, like Joy is 23, like you can cut off for almost anything. Like, people will not be like, hey, listen, we just got married, we can get divorced tomorrow. Like, listen, this ain't working. Like, we're not doing that anymore. Do you think that, I want to kind of talk about that. Do you think that is it that's one extreme and that's one extreme and there's a balance in there? Do you think that we've become extreme? I see shaking heads a no.
I think we've become financially savvy. And so
those women were financially insecure. They were financially dependent. You're right.
And so I think when you look at generationally, there was a different expectation generationally because they needed something different, right? And so you had 10 kids because y'all got to work this land, or we don't use birth control, or there are all of these kind of things that are happening. We believe in big families, and so you hate to say, oh well, women got the right to vote and they'll make money and go to work and all of those things. What effect did those things have on our household? Well, they did create a different dynamic in the household, but I think it also left an opportunity for men to become more involved, and that piece did not happen. And so we went from women being taking care of the house and the children to women working and taking care of the house and the children, and women working and taking care of the house and there being no husband there. Women working, taking care of the house, and now there's another woman. And so as now you have two moms or two dads. And so I think, they say money is the root of all evil, right? And so I think as as we become more financially fit or more financially savvy, it changes the dynamics of the home, because as women make more money, sometimes men are making less because they don't have those opportunities, and so
Right.
they're more
Mhm.
insecure. And so what comes with their insecureness is there's an anger and
Mhm.
there's a resentment, and so now you bring all of those things are now a part of what's going on in the household. And so now you just have this ball of things happening, and that your home spirals. And so there is, to your point, there is no balance. Um, there can be no balance when there is resentment.
Oh, good point.
Anybody else?
I agree with what Simone said about women becoming more financially, independent. So now it's like if a guy was to leave, nothing ain't gonna change. I'm still gonna, pay my bills. I'm still gonna do what I need to do, what I've been doing anyway. So whether you come or leave, someone else will come. Like, I guess that's just the mindset. Like, if you leave, it'll be another one up, like, tomorrow, I guess.
But do you think that because we have that kind of we have that thought pattern? I remember my mom saying, and I'm 46 now, and I remember my mom saying with me growing up, and being funny, but it didn't change that being in my mind. What's his is mine, what's mine is mine, and what's ours is mine. And so when
Yes,
you
I
say,
remember that.
well, right, Joyce, when you say, well, I've been paying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not changing the barometer of my life. So you can go or you can stay, but nothing is changing within my household. Do you think that in any kind of way unconsciously maybe makes a man feel emasculated?
Good point. I think men are intimidated by strong women anyway,
Yeah.
and they're not raised to understand how to treat strong women. And most of the time, when they are in environments coming from broken structure homes, it's the mother who maintains everything. So I'm starting to see a resentment towards women. The stronger you are, the more things fall on your plate because that's your responsibility because you can handle it. And I wanted to see, why do we keep having these old stereotypes of what our roles are? Like, my husband can change diapers, braid hair, wash clothes. He can do everything I can do, because the fact, if something happens to me as a partner, I need him to run this shop just the way I would. So when we start thinking about women who are not married, having children out of wedlock, and you start to understand how this is starting to become a cycle, because when it doesn't work out, everybody is so microwave instant. Like Melissa said, you can go get a divorce the same day you get married. There is no sanctuary of marriage no more. So as a little girl, my mama used to always tell me, grow up, get your own self. When you are able to take care of yourself, then the game changes. You don't have to be thirsty or desperate for a man. You get your education and he'll come to you. And by the grace of God, I believe that, and that's what happened from my situation, because I wouldn't have looked for a white man to marry. That wasn't the way I was raised. But when my husband came to me, he came to me after I said my morning prayer with my coworkers. And my boss was the one who was like, give him a try. You just prayed about what you want. And my prayer was, God, whatever you have for me, give it to me. I had to learn how to change my prayer in order to understand how I fit in the dynamic of what was going on in the process. And it was almost like love at first sight, because once you open your heart and God has something for you, it's for you. So,
Well,
and
I'll
with
say
that,
this, Nicole, I've been watching your relationship, and I'll say this, and it's going back to what it's piggybacking on Simone and Joyce and you. I think one thing, and me and AC, we talk about this often. I think that, like you said, like we don't have to depend on men so much anymore financially. So that does give us a certain mindset. We do have a certain mindset. But what I have come to realize is that I think for women, especially black women have to find a man who loves her more than she loves him.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Amen. Mama told me that one. You're right about that.
what I've noticed in the relationships that work, it is Nakia, those women who are adored by their man. Like it's like, wow, so good to her. Like, you know, when you're with the man who is, you know, self-sufficient, handsome, women coming at him. I mean, in his mind, I mean, you a dime a dozen. You know, he loves you, but at the same time, he feel like, hell, there's a lot of you out there, because we do understand the dynamic of, you know, the numbers game. We understand that when it comes to us and black men, we got to fight, first off, Lord, homosexuality.
Come on. White women.
We do have to fight other races. So we know that our numbers game, we losing with the numbers game, and they know that too. Nakia, they aware of that. And so what I've realized is that when I watch certain relationships, like David adores you. My cousin Danette, her man adores her. Like it's like, wow, like that type of, that is the type of stick-to-itiveness that I notice works better than when you just have two, I guess, independent, or I don't even know what's the word, but it's so different. It's just, and I think women now, you know, some of us are realizing that I want more. Like this is not enough. Like our mothers and our grandmothers, they were happy or content with, well, the bills paid, I got a roof over my head, my kids got somewhere to sleep. But like Joy said, now we're like, baby, I can pay the bills. They gonna still have somewhere to sleep, and I deserve to have some form of happiness. That's what
I think that's happening at all. That's happening at all.
Does that speak to give and take though? When you say there's one party, because obviously there's one party that loves more than another, right? So that means that if you're the party who is getting loved on more, then that means you have the security, which I talked about earlier. You have the security of knowing, oh, well, that person isn't going anywhere, right? And so because you feel like that, that changes the dynamic and of your relationship. And I think that, you know, we say so often, black women are strong. And I think it's not so much we're strong, it's that we're resilient. But what comes with that resilience is a outspokenness. And because we're outspoken, it gets translated into being strong. And it gets translated into, oh, you know, you can't tell black women, you can't tell them nothing. Well, no, I'm just not going to allow you to tell me anything. And so when you stand, they say if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And so, you know, when we speak up, we're that now not only in the workplace, but in our home, that changes the dynamic of how you're viewed. And if that man, not that he's not strong, and I think strong is such a weak word, but when that man can't handle, right, that communication or the way you communicate, then it changes the dynamic. I think that changes the dynamic of your relationship.
I completely concur. Like I joke, you know, me and Anthony joke, and a lot of my homeboys joke, like I naturally have a strong tonation. I have a very strong personality. And I remember one of my homeboys sent me something like when he was like, every time I see this, I think of you. And they said something like, if you can't handle the way I talk, then take your weak ass on. Like, you know, and I'm like, he's like, you know, I mean, what you're saying is so true. It's so true to the point of, this is what I said. You know, I've said this before, Simone, and I remember I was like, oh my gosh, you dropped the mic. And Nicole, you kind of touched upon it. They want us to be they want us to be the maid.
Oh my God.
They want us to be the caregiver to the kids. They want us to bring the money in the household. They want us to be the stripper in the bedroom, to be the super freak. Like they want us to be everything
and cook like their mama.
But you know what?
They have all these things, but then they tell us that we're not soft enough. You're not feminine enough. You're not weak enough. Hell, when I got a chance to be weak,
right?
You have a chance
you don't have time to be vulnerable.
You got me
But what
doing.
I realize with black women is we got to get back to having men cater to us. We are so strong. We're doing so much catering to everybody else that they don't cater to us. And until you put yourself as the prize, my mom always said, the egg can't swim to the sperm, baby. The sperm swims to the egg. So you don't never chase a man. A man gonna come to you, whether it's your time or a vibrator's time. But somebody is gonna get some time. Do you understand? So we have to learn as women to self-pleasure yourself, because you can't rely on a man making you happy. And I had to get out of the habit of that. For years, I would say, oh, he makes me happy. Melissa, you made me realize that one day being in this house ain't going to be good enough for you no more. Because you're going to get bored. I've been at home for 6 freaking years, and I want to run to somebody's job right now and have them give me a check, because I'm tired of trying to have everything on my shoulders. And when I tell him I'm not strong enough for this, it makes me feel bad, because I feel like I'm giving up. But realize, as women, we're not supposed to take on all the burdens of this world. That's what a man is supposed to be. And until we start making men act like men, it's too many men who are soft acting like they wear a tampon once a month. And I can't deal with it. You understand that? So
Well,
when you raise
guess why
boys,
it's too many, Nicole? Guess why? Guess why? And I always say this: a person can only do what you allow them to do.
what you allow. You always said that, Melissa. But you've been a pimp from day
only
back.
do
You was
what
a
we
pimp
allow
way
them to do.
back.
We have to take back the power. We as women have to take it back. And
That's right.
I mean,
But it
you
has
know,
to be taught. We're taught on traditions. Remember, our conversation started with housewives. How can I be a housewife if you can't afford a house? Now, we need to take some of these labels off, because I
Can't
just told
afford
y'all
that life.
last month, I was a housewife for 6 years in a home that wasn't mine. But I swore up and down I was going to purchase it. It was going to be mine. I spoke it into an existence. But the moment something went wrong, everything is mama's fault. You talked that we wasn't going to get this house. You spoke it into existence. So it's to the point where you can't have a partner throw your spirituality back at you like a boomerang, because reality and spirituality has to go hand in hand when it comes to relationships. And we don't talk about that. I cannot be evenly yoked with somebody who doesn't value my principles. You see what I'm saying? So when we start making principles,
I wanted to ask Nicole a question, something that just stuck in my mind. Because I remember, I heard you say that your husband is an Israelite, correct?
his mother's from Israel and his father was an American white man from Georgia.
Is he Jewish?
No, he's actually Christian.
Okay.
Tell your daddy come here for 1 second so they can see him. And the reason why I was
don't be putting that man on blast. That man might not want to come on here and all these women talking about
already sitting here. What are you talking about? You set my camera up. What is you talking about? We are one. See, now we gotta play like we won when it's convenient, and then when I want my time for myself, then it's it's separation. Here, baby, let me show him. Take your hair. Take your hair down, Lamb. Take your hair down. I call him Lammy.
Lammy, really?
You gonna see why? Come here, baby. Come here. Show
Look
him.
at Ben. See, she being soft.
I am being soft, but a woman was made to be
Come here,
soft.
baby.
We don't have the ball. They got the ball.
We crave
I
to
got
be
a vagina. A vagina. Even the word vagina is feminine.
You want us to be everything. I can't be everything. I want to be soft. I want to come home and just be.
I want to.
Yeah, we all do.
And I think that is the problem with Black women. We have been taught that it's okay to be strong. No, the hell it ain't. These white women are the weakest link. Okay, all them Trump supporters that voted for Trump, they need to be kept. They got to be taken care of. They're not raised to think that you're supposed to do everything. Only Black women are taught to be strong, don't be weak, don't be vulnerable. These white women, they want to be catered to. They want to be put on a pedestal. I look at my neighbors right now, and I said, well, damn, if I look like that and I got a house like that, what am I doing in that house? Because they must be doing something right for a $400,000-$500,000 house on my block. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm starting to understand men don't buy houses for them. They buy houses for women. So as a Black woman, the first thing we should say is, can you buy me a house? If I'm going to be your woman, instead of me opening my legs, open that key door.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Nicole. You made some points. But our whole
Okay,
upbringing is like you
now,
said.
I gotta stay prayed up. Don't he look like Jesus? But just a little dark. We can do a little darker sometimes. But I have to love out of the heart that God gave me. You see what I'm saying? So when he came to me, okay, you can go. When he came to me, I had just said a prayer. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to understand, we have to put into existence what we want as women. And as Black women, we should be taken care of. None of y'all should be having to work if you don't
Carlos,
want to
we are
work.
not
But if
male
you want to
bashing
work,
tonight.
get your money.
Carlos, we're not male bashing
I ain't
tonight.
male
We
bashing.
are having a
I'm not male
conversation
bashing.
trying to figure out how can we make this Black love better, Carlos. We would never bash our Black men. We've already, you coming in late, we've already established that it starts with us, that the things that we want, we must demand them. If we don't demand them, we can't have them. The one thing, Carlos is one of my homeboys back in Daytona. Carlos is good to his wife, but she demands that he be good to her. Again, it's what we're demanding. It's what you demand.
Correct.
Is what you ask for. And I think that too often we ignore signs because we, like I always said, little slaps on the wrist. We be having a little warning signs, but we ignore them because I don't even know why we ignore them. I don't know. He cute, he fine, he laid it down. You know, we knew when we got in it, we knew when we started messing with him that he didn't have the drive that we wanted him to have.
But
So
and you can't change nobody.
He don't want to do nothing but play video games.
Nobody.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in us that makes us behave that way. And I just think at the end of the day, again, it all starts with us. We have to start demanding those things. Men can only do what we allow them to do. And so the women that like I said, that I see winning, their men adore them because they demand it. You know, they listen. It's not going to be any other way. And,
you know,
and
Nicole,
like
you said there were two things that you said. One is you were saying, you know, you prayed and on your house and that, you know, you knew you were going to buy it. But I think the other, Elena, I think a lot of people do that. But I think the other part of that is you have to, and this is generally speaking, look at what actionable part you're doing to make those things happen. Like you want to be in a better relationship. What actionable thing are you doing to bring that up? And then the other thing is, you know, we say as Black women, I hear it a lot, and some of my closest girlfriends are white, and so, you know, we hear white women are taking our men, or they're doing this or they're doing that. And so, you know, one of the things that you said is, well, what is she doing in that house? You know, and they have to be supported. And that they're weak. I don't think that they're weak. I think that they cater to what they know that man wants. And they cater either long enough to get him or to get something from him. And if he's worth
they're taught
user effect. See, we're not taught to use people.
They are taught how to get husbands. We are taught how to get a husband. We are taught that you don't need a man. They're taught that
it's a whole different mindset.
Take care of you.
Yeah.
Right. We're taught to go half on the dish, half on the meal. They're dated. We don't date. And that's one thing too. As women,
no, they don't date, Nicole. They're courted. We don't get courted.
Thank you, baby. It's a whole different process. You're absolutely right.
They get courted. They say, hey, you need to come. Like you said, they have them come to them, and they make it because, you know, and I'm gonna say it, and because I you know, I'm gonna say it. I see Black men who used to date Black women, and then they'll get with a white woman, and they doing things for her they never did for the Black girls that I saw.
Because she tapped into this.
It's because she required it.
That's right.
You weren't going to get her without that action. And so again, we have to always be honest about the role that we play in the relationships that we in. Because again, y'all know what my phrase is, Simone, common denominator. You are the common denominator. You got to understand, Joy, is what role you play and what's going on in your relationships. If you ain't never getting what you want, it's time for you to say, well, damn, am I not? What am I doing? What am I communicating? What am I putting in the atmosphere? What am I allowing?
Right.
You have to be real.
And where are you placing yourself? You know, and they say, and you hear them say, well, what is it? Birds of a feather and all of
Flock
that.
together.
I do
Mhm.
believe that and yes, you can meet a man anywhere. But I think that there are some places you're not going to meet that person that you are looking for, or that you're trying, not even looking for, that you're trying to draw to you. You can't meet. I don't think you can necessarily meet that dude in the club every
can't.
week. It might be a
I was
one-off.
there.
It might be a one-off that you meet him, but I think that you got to look at the, crass as it is, you got to look at the bait you're throwing and where you're fishing. I mean, that's just kind of that.
Well, I think now I'm gonna tell you now, Simone. I'm gonna beg to differ on you with this one, Nakia. I don't know if you don't heard this one, but the biggest playboys in the church.
Oh my God!
They know that's what all. That's what they know.
And
That's all the women go
that's
looking for a husband.
You know, I had just said that manipulation of the spirit and the heart go hand in hand.
Yeah, but I just said you got to look at where you're fishing. So if they're looking for,
well, they know desperation. You desperate when you go to church. You praying for a better day.
I ain't gonna call it desperation, but what I will say, Nicole and Marcel, remember Simone? Marcel said this on the show. He said, "You women, you give up too much too quickly." He said, "You come in, you come out the gate saying
I've been victim of that,
and you give us the information to use against you. You give it to us. Like hold some of it back sometimes. Don't be so thirsty. Don't be so hungry." He told us
that's
that.
why they at the church.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, likewise, what we're saying, well, we got to look at where we're going. The men are also at the same time, they're doing, they have that same thought. So if I know that if women are easier to get at in church because they're a little less guarded, well, of course I'm going to church to find them. Right? Because they in here making,
but that's manipulation. Yeah.
Nakia, were you going to say something?
That is manipulation, and it looks bad. Yeah. Yes, I don't know why my service is so awful. I'm over here itching to talk, but I know I'm breaking up.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I think that, and I don't know. I've shared this with Dr. Chester. Can you hear me? I don't date church. If I meet you at church, that's a no. I want you to know Jesus. I want you to have a relationship with God, but I cannot meet you in this house. Because I do think the same thing. I think that a lot of men prey on women in the church. I think, I'm serious. I think there are men who use that as their, like, they don't go to the club no more to pick up the women at the bar. Now they go to the church and pick them up at the altar. I just can't date a man that is at church. I want you to go to church. I want you to know God.
Right.
But that's not the place where we're going to meet. And that's just my personal thing. No.
Somebody said, where do you meet people? You know what? I'll tell you this. They said, where do you meet people, especially in the pandemic? On the last time they were on the show, the guys were on. A few of them were saying that, and I this was because I've been married so long now. But everybody's doing dating sites. People are doing dating sites. And he talked about the ones that were, I guess he kind of like ranked them, kind of like, this is the one where people are more serious. And one of our men, he actually met his wife on a dating site. He met her on eHarmony, I think he said. And they're not married anymore. But he was like, it was amazing at how like it was a match. But he was saying like the POF, I think he told me it was called Plenty of Fish. Like that one is just for hooking up. That's just the hook up one, and then he named some other ones. But I know they're meeting for the person that asked there. They're meeting, and then somebody said anywhere, Walmart, gas station, people are talking. You're still out even during the pandemic. But again, right. Great points what you said, Nakia, about not meeting your mate in the church, because I do know that a lot of men prey on women at the church. So when you say the bait at church, it's just we have to be more discerning. We have to be more. Oh, what's the word? We have to guard ourselves more. We have to
guard our hearts. It says it in the Bible.
Pastor babies on here, Apple and Pastor Sherry, two of my pastor babies, and they talk about it all the time. You just got to guard that spirit. Like we be so vulnerable with our spirit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we got a lot of predators. There's a lot of predators out here, and they wait.
Yeah.
They
I
wait.
think,
Yeah.
I think the pandemic is a great time. Like if I were single, I personally feel like the pandemic right now is a great time to
To
date because
You can't help but get to know each other.
you have
Yeah, it's no
this is a whole lot of
distraction.
phone, it's a whole lot of phone talking because you're not coming to my house, right? I'm not coming to
Right.
yours.
Right.
We're not going, we may go to dinner, but we're not being as social. And I think that, not being as social gives people, if they appreciate it for what it is, right? And they look at it for the opportunity that it is, it gives people an opportunity to get to know a person through their conversation and not through the physicality.
And
But
you know what, Simone? It also, like, I don't remember. I think it might have been Marcel that said this too. Marcel talked about the fact that you should have been having more quality types of dates as well. You know,
Absolutely.
like you weren't, because when stuff was
Right.
closed, you should have been going to the parks. You should have been going and sitting
Yeah.
out by the water and talking. And if those are things that you
Right.
desire and the guy is not into that, then why are you talking to him?
then that's not that guy.
Right.
That's not that guy.
Yeah.
If he
So
don't
many
like,
times we sacrifice what we need for what we want. We sacrifice what we need for what we
I have
want.
to do it every day. Every day.
We sacrifice what we need for what we want. You know, we need, like me, I need romanticism. I need that. I don't, but then you might sacrifice that for what you want. I don't need financial stability. That might be something that I want, but I don't need that because I can provide for myself. And I think that we got to do better about just, again, we got women, it's up to us. We got what we got to do, Nakia. We got to have like a whole women's like movement, because if we raise our standards, because everything they do for us. At the end of the day,
they don't buy houses for them.
if we
That's
raise
right.
our standards, then they'll raise theirs. They won't have a choice to.
Yeah.
But again, I always say a man can't be a dog without a cat. We got to get our other women to stop being cats. Stop giving them options. But it has to be like this. We have to just bind together and just figure it out. And it's just so hard. And the kids so hard. Yes, and we do settle. We settle because we take what we want instead of what we need. What's somebody saying?
It's going to go back to the root of the woman, how she sees herself, she values herself, the things like you said that she desires, and putting her needs over her desires, her wants. What do you need as a woman? Knowing her strengths and knowing her being stable within her skin. And so as long as there's that weak person, that's where that man's gonna go. Someone said earlier in the conversation that men think they want a strong woman and they don't, because it's a lot. I have a lot of single friends that are well put together women. They look good, they are stable within their skin, financially. They don't want that, because something comes along with that. If we are single and financially stable, something we got there for a way. We didn't wake up that way. We worked hard to get there. So no, I'm not going to have someone come into my home or come into my life and just make it, run it into the ground because I want to say I have a man. Now, there are women who will, though, and that's where they're going to go. There are women who are independent. There are women who have it together, but they have no self-esteem. Not low, no.
That's
no
true.
Self-esteem. They
That's
just
true.
take whatever comes their way. And they ruin it for the better women.
Joyous, you in your 20s, you're a baby.
What you said about the
No, go ahead. What were you saying, Nakia? Oh, you were finished?
I was gonna say, going back to the culture about the white woman, they are raised to marry wealthy. They are raised to marry wealthy, where we are raised to be independent and to be strong.
I read that.
Take care of the house. They are raised to marry. It's totally different. And I've experienced it as a mom with my son. I have seen women try to put their daughters on my son so they can see where he's going. And that's going to be a no. That's going to be a hard no for me.
You and I talk like that.
We just have to.
Wow.
You remember our conversation? Yes. So we just have to train a black boy to teach him to love. That's the first thing. We have to treat our young men, teach them to love women, love whoever they date, teach them to be faithful. If they've seen their dads or uncles or whoever, do things that it's not, which is not favoring the woman. You need to say, no, that's not the way it goes, and teach them as the woman. Just like men teach their daughters how to be treated, we need to teach our sons how to treat a woman.
That's so true. And then, unfortunately, in the black community,
so
black
that
men,
starts back to
we're teaching them to be hunters. We teach them to knock off as many as you can. That's something that's in our culture. And I talk about that with my husband. I'm like, no, I'm not raising my boys like that. Why they can't value their body the same way we teach a woman to value hers? Why they can't feel like every woman is not worth
Exactly.
And so it's a changing of the mentality. So you're so right, Nakia. We do have to do that. And so, Joyce, I want to ask you. You're the youngest baby. You're in your 20s. What is it like for you all dating? Are you seeing the same patterns that we as 40 somethings are seeing?
I think most females around my age, they like to keep their options open, so they don't put all their eggs in one basket. So they don't really focus on that one boy, put all their attention and time into that one boy. Their energy and time and focus be going to probably multiple different people. Not saying that it's, that they sleeping with everybody, but they gonna keep their options open. Because really, if you think about it, guys, they keep their options open. They talk to whoever they want to.
That's
So it's just like, I'm not about to take you serious until you show me some type of seriousness. Like, if you hitting my phone up every time I'm showing, taking the effort and time to get to know me and always, just want to spend that quality time with me, I think that's who the girl gonna, lean towards more and gonna, take that person seriously. I think the dating world, it can be, well, I'm not single, but I feel like the dating world, it can be kind of frustrating because, everybody love to play, nobody ain't really, being so serious with the person they talking to, or they'll try to make it seem like, that they like you really, really much. But they'll just, at the end of the day, I feel like guys have an end goal. And until you stick to, keeping yourself, sooner or later, their true colors will come out. By
30 days.
Like,
30 days, 60 days.
Yeah.
Right. You figured it out.
Within 2 to 3 months, you will see, because guys, they'll be so nice in the beginning. Like, they'll be Mr. Perfect. And by the second or third month hit, that'll be washed away. They'll be on to the next.
And I'm here to tell you, George, this is not an age thing, baby. That's as they get older, they still that way. As I used to say when I taught at FAMU, they wearing these masks, but we all wear masks, women too. We all have on our polite mask and our, all these masks. And then, like you said, at the time, that's when you see the real person. And so everyone needs to just come into the relationship, just being them their authentic selves. And saying, take me or leave me. It doesn't take a bunch of time to get to know each other. It takes quality time. It takes real conversations. It takes, and I think that's something that we do. We tiptoe around so much. And I've seen people be with people for years, Simone. And I'm like, you talking about y'all breaking up after 5 years because he didn't want any more kids. Damn, it took you 5 years to know that?
But you knew that. No. It took you 5 years to accept it because he told you at hello.
Exactly.
You thought, no, but we'll be together and then he'll see that I'm the one for him and we'll make pretty babies, blah, blah, blah. No, he said what he said and he meant what he said. He might not think you're a good mother.
But again, it goes just back to wanting and needing.
Absolutely.
Settling for what you want and not for what you need. If I remember that the young lady was on the show. She was like, listen, Karen's like, listen, it's a non-negotiable for me. I don't want to deal with small children. I'm 50. If you're a man with small children, you can be perfect. You can have everything else, but that's my non-negotiable. People have to be honest about their non-negotiables and stick to them. Yeah. Right? And stop playing, straddling the fence and well, he nice though, but I don't really. Well, what is it? Is it a non-negotiable or is it not a non-negotiable? And be
That's
honest
fear.
about
I think it's fear though. Well, I mean, he got like 95% of it, but if I if I don't bend, how long is it going to take me to find this next person that is going to meet it like at 100%? And I think you start
But
to
I
deal
think that's
with,
unrealistic. There is no 100%.
no, but he may have everything I want, including the not having the kids. But I don't know how long it's going to take me to for that guy to find me. So I might as well just deal with the one that's got mostly everything because he's here.
That's
You know what I
called
mean?
settling. Let's
No, it
call
is.
that. That's called settling.
Well,
That's
Miss
settling.
Pastor Sherry said that earlier. She said we
Older.
settle. Yeah,
But
most of us
as
do
women get
settle.
older,
We do.
they feel like they're.
And that's my question. Do we have to settle for less in order to?
No, we don't
get
have to. We
most of
choose
what we
to.
want.
It's a choice, but it's
It's
a
a choice.
choice.
I'm
It's a choice.
balancing that.
As you get older,
It's all balance.
you feel
You
have
can't be
to
a certain way and demand everything and not give. And I think as Black women, we're starting to get this stigma that we just want, and we don't give. Where I meet
You know
other
what? That's a
people,
true statement, now, Nicole. I don't heard
their
some black men
first thing
say
they
this, but
do
you
is
said.
yeah. And I really feel like we have to require that. We're missing that. And when we start understanding that you can't patch a person together, either they're whole or they're not. Either you're going to work with that person or not. I had 5 of my girlfriends when I first got with my husband tell me, if you're going to pick a white man, why not pick a white man with money? Because that's the image. Not let me build with this white man and we'll build together. They were playing, what was that Kanye West song? She don't mess with no broke nigga. And it made me feel so enraged. And till this day, right now, majority of them are still single. So I've been in my relationship for 16 years, but you discouraged me for stepping outside for love, but you wanted for the money. And my thing is this, I had to post the other day was, where did that take you? You asked me, will I marry for love or will I marry for money? And one of my girlfriends said straight out, I'm marrying for money.
Each person has to make that decision for themselves. That may be right for them, but that wasn't right for you.
Correct.
I mean, like I said, that's
but what I'm saying is we pull each other down because we're so accustomed to our tradition.
Well, hey, you know what I tell you all the time, change your damn circle. I don't have people that pull me down. My people gonna uplift and support, or they're not gonna be in my circle. I'm not gonna have people that speak negative, that don't speak life into my situations and my relationship.
Correct.
So that's about, again, just because you grew up with somebody or they've been your home girl. Listen, you, at the end of the day, you're responsible for what's around you, for what's
it's levels to it.
Correct. It's levels.
Everybody don't make it to level.
And I'm the first one to say, the people that I bring in my circle, y'all know they got me and I got them. That's just it. And we gonna listen. So it's just about the people and what they're pouring into you. But you did say a key thing, Nicole, when you said Black men are feeling like y'all saying what y'all want, but y'all not willing to give. And I think, again, it just goes back to having those real conversations about, listen, okay, because I remember Anthony, I'm calling him out. He probably not on here, but he gonna look at it later. Anthony, our panelist, he's always, don't nobody want to come home to no woman that's fussing and I want peace and da. But hold on. Again, you expect her to clean the house. She got to be
right.
She got to cook.
Take care of the kids.
She got to have it going on in bed. She got to take care of the kids. When do you have a time to be vulnerable or to give? Like, there's no time. Like, if you're saying that you want certain things, that means that you need to be providing me with a maid. You need to be providing me with a cook. And then now I can get my him, and I can work out, and I can have more energy, and I can be sexy, and I can be better in the bedroom.
Yes.
But if I'm tired from raising little kids, and I'm cooking, and I'm working just as many hours as you, I mean, your role hasn't changed, but my role has multiplied. That's unfair.
So how do we strengthen each other? Because there's no support for women like that. We need more support because there's nobody to talk to. And when we isolate ourselves, then that's when the vulnerability come in, and you are your worst enemy if you keep perpetuating your failures of, I see my girls who still worked, had children, but they didn't let the family take over them. I've allowed the family to dictate what my day-to-day operation is. And so as a woman, it's so hard to find that balancing act because where do you go for support?
Mm-hmm. Doc, you just said something that made me think about one of my girlfriends. You said multiply, and she put this post up the other day that someone else had said, but it said by nature women are multipliers. So if you give her sperm, she'll give you back a baby. If you give her a house, she'll make it a home. And it just went on. And one of the biggest things it said was if you give her frustration, she'll give you hell. So the biggest thing is whatever you give me, I'm gonna multiply it. So if you don't want to come home and hear her fussing and moaning all the time, like what are you leaving
Take
in the
some of the
house?
load off of it, right?
But what
Find
are
out
you
what she's
leaving in the
fussing
house?
about.
Why
Yeah.
is she? Because trust me, we don't have nothing else to do. I think when he coming home, I'm gonna ask him why that shoe right there. Like that's
Right.
not what I want to that's not what I want to come home to. Like we don't want to be in an environment that's contentious. However, if if you continue to give a certain thing, you're going to continue to get a certain reaction. And so on both parts, when you change that stimulus, when you change that's whatever that stimulus is, it will change your result.
And I guess we got to go back to women. And I'm gonna say this, y'all know, because I be, but we too have to learn how to let go of our little pride and ego
Absolutely.
to black women. We got to learn. We do have to learn how to, what battles to fight, what is worth fighting, and then understand that sometimes you have to lose the battle in order to win the war. Sometimes you
Good
have to
one.
give another to win.
Good one.
And I
Yes,
think that's
gentlemen.
something that we as black women, especially those of us who are independent, self-sufficient, it's really hard for us to do.
Can you
Sometimes
say that one more time, Melissa? Just let me get that
you
through
gonna
the
call me Doc.
subconscious one
Now,
more
that's your
time.
last time on this show. I'm Doc.
Come on, Doc. I'm
Doc
sorry.
on
Can
this
you
show.
say that one more time so it can go through my subconscious? You got to do
Okay,
what again?
listen. Sometimes you have to lose the war in order to win the battle.
Thank you. Amen.
Okay, sometimes
I
you have to
surrender,
give
Lord.
in order to it. Like sometimes you have to, and I think we as black women, especially when we're self-sufficient, we're independent, we're used to. It's hard for us, and then that's why I always ask my girlfriend when we had those conversations: is the risk worth the reward? You got to be honest about that.
Ooh,
And I tell me the same thing: is the risk worth the reward? I've had a man say to me, "Listen, I'm not doing that for her. Like, listen, I'm like, so she's not worth it. So what you're telling me is that risk of you being vulnerable to her is not worth the reward of what you could potentially get from her. And if that's the case, maybe you're not with the right person. Maybe you're not with your mate.
And I think that's a very true statement, because when you look at what you're willing to give and your what they call it, your value proposition, if she's worth it, then she's worth you being open and giving. And if you don't get that feeling from her, then she's never going to be worth it. You're never going to be at your best, because men are great on their own, but they're amazing with support. And I think that both parties are. But, one of the things that I think is super interesting about this conversation, when we talk about push and pull and how much does one give, is that there is this thought, and I know it was a thought in my generation, but it was I will never give 100% of myself. Like I can give you 90, I can give you 95, but I can't give you 100, because then I have nothing left. And I think people operate in a space of percentages, and they try to mete out exactly how much of their self they feel like that person is worth having. And so I don't think people kind of go into things with the all or nothing. It's more of I'm going to allow you to earn. You're going to earn these percentages, which goes back, Doc, to what you were saying about being with somebody who loves you more than you love them.
Listen, the women that I've seen done that in the kid who do that, girl, when I tell you, like, my cousin, she has a boyfriend. When I say like she got the best boyfriend, like all her cousins, her mom, her auntie, everybody like, oh, we love him. Like everybody love this man because this man is phenomenal to this woman. And I see other women with those type men. And she said the secret is finding somebody who loves you more than you love them. I mean,
but
they adore you more than you adore them. Huh?
Isn't that fake?
But I think that's what you said.
Because I feel like right now, love is manipulated like a game. Like now that I sit back and think, how did I get this man and where am I at today? Things change. And if we are foolish to think it's going to stay the same. And love changes just like everything else. So if we're not nurturing that or having somebody nurture, and then I think we should say, instead of saying we need to have the man love us more than we love him, I think we need to change that to they need to nurture us more than we nurture them. Because if we say
nurturing is a part of love. If somebody loves you, they're going to nurture you.
Yeah, but you can nurture someone before you love them. See, I think, and that goes back to women giving too much.
Not a man. Not a man. A man is not going to nurture no woman he don't love. See, that's the difference.
Okay, good point.
Woman may nurture, but a man ain't going to nurture nobody he don't love.
By nature.
I used to say this in class. When I tell you, I'm gonna write a book just with my sayings about relationships.
Yes.
Women love fast, men love hard. Women love fast, men love hard.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Because men love hard, it is hard to get their love. So, but once you have it, you got yourself something. And so that's why I said that. Right. Like, understand that a man ain't gonna nurture nobody he don't love. We'll nurture anybody because we're nurturers naturally.
Amen. But we'll nurture you to love. We will nurture you to the point that we finally feel like we have you in a position through nurture that you now love us, because that's a piece of love language where when you're talking about, and I agree with you, with men, men are more, I think they're a lot more action driven. Right. And we're more language driven. If you tell me you love me, but you don't show me, I'm okay with that.
We'll settle for that for a while.
Because you told me. Whereas men are like, you got to show them everything that they want to see. And then they make a decision on whether or not you are worth being in their peace with.
Shut up, Carlos. But you nurtured her with Bethune-Grill today. You got to be from Daytona to know about Bethune-Grill. That's the wing spot. That's the wing spot at Daytona. He was being silly. But yes, so very true, Simone. I mean, and we got to, like, again, we just got to be honest. And like Pastor Sherry said, it really does go back to just, and I said at the beginning, women, we're goddesses. When we go back to the fact that we're goddesses, God is in us, and we understand like we deserve every good thing that a man has to give us. And we start requiring that, they will start giving it, because men will. My husband said all the time, my homeboy said all the time, Doc, Melissa, we do what y'all let us do. Like, we can't do it unless you let us do it. Like, don't be out here getting mad because you getting what you get, because you're the one allowing it. You allowed it. Allow will continue. And so we have to be honest about that. We have to start requesting more, requiring more. And it just, when it starts small, you can't. Now listen, women, y'all in here listening, don't be going and just taking them giant steps now. You got to, Nicole, don't be going, build on that stuff, baby steps, right? I'm honestly, I try with my husband. Hey, listen, I need you to do this. I want this, but I start with this. Can you start with this? Can you do this? Because I'm needing it. Right? Yeah, needing it. But we do have to take baby steps, but we got to start requiring, because we deserve it. Black woman, you deserve all the happiness that you want. You deserve it. And that's something we got to start doing, y'all, supporting each other, uplifting each other, speaking life into each other, telling each other the truth, but truth with love, truth with good intent. Yeah, we got to start doing that. And that's something that I have intentionally done all of my life, but more so as I'm getting older. And when I realize that people are not for my good, they're not for the good, they gotta go. I used to be that one of you kind of no, you gotta go. Man, you don't have anything in common. Joyce, they gotta go, Joyce. We ain't got nothing in common. Listen, home girl, we don't grew up together, but we different. I'ma love you, but I'm gonna love you from afar. You can't be in my circle because I still believe in common denominator. I still
Can't be
believe
the square in my circle.
no. Yes,
You know,
get there.
when you talk about people allow, it makes me think of, I used to see, and I still see it. You see the guys, the boys. I just think they're boys, with the pants sagging, and my thought used to be, oh my, like, why do they do that? And one day I kept thinking, why? I don't understand this.
Like, he got a beautiful girl on his arm.
Well, and they do, and then you know what my thought is? He dresses like that, to your point, because whether he's with that girl or not, there is some woman somewhere who is co-signing on his draws hanging off his behind. There is somebody somewhere that is running up in his face. Oh, baby, you're sexy. No, them draws is turned inside out. That's not sexy.
But can I ask y'all, why are we so trendy? Why does our trends become our culture?
I think that's because that's who we are. I think that we're unapologetic, and so because of who we are, what we do becomes cool. Everything about us is cool, right? When you look at our hair, our genetic, our makeup, our everything. But then the flip side of that is, while everything about us is cool, and while they want to take that, we're also going backwards and wanting to do all of the things that make them who they are, right? And so, you know, when you hear people say culture vulture, I think that is such a two-way street, because we are once again giving up who we are to settle for something that is less than because it looks good.
Well, I'll say this.
The younger generation.
I think that because at one point people don't understand that everybody's carbon copies now. Like, an original costs more than a carbon copy, and
Absolutely.
that's something that I've always been. Even when the trend, like, everybody's just copies of everything. And I think it just comes to when Sherry said it, Pastor Sherry said it, well, they've made the trend the culture. Like, it used to be trends, but now it's like the culture. But again,
like, Melissa,
but I always say this, because, you know, when it comes to talking about them young babies, I be telling people, when you point the finger, 3 point back at you. If they not doing right, it's because we did something wrong, because we're the ones teaching them.
Because I was about to say, the culture now on the radio is so embarrassing as a mother driving around with children in a car, and every other song is talking about consuming sperm, throat babies. And when I heard my daughter almost try to sing it, I had to immediately turn it off, because it's like, I don't want this culture perpetrated on you where your innocence is taken.
Well, I think again, though, you know what's happened, Nicole? The technology, like, you know, because 8 and 10, and Nakia, I just found out what the Busset challenge.
Yeah, Busset challenges. Yeah,
literally. Have you heard about the Busset challenge? Well, of course, you know, Joyce, when I found out the Busset challenge, my homeboy showed it to me. I asked my babies. They 8 and 10, and what you think they said to me, Simone?
No,
you talking about when the ladies start off ugly and then they drop it down to the ground and then they come back pretty? They know.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, again, you know, we're thinking we're giving them this technology, but we got to understand what giving them this technology does. And so now I got to have a conversation with them and saying, hey, that's not attractive, because they, you know, I was like, you know, well, how would you feel if mommy was doing? Oh, that wouldn't. Okay, exactly. That's why that's not cool. Like, you know, because there was somebody talking about, like, all these mamas out here doing this Busset challenge, and I was like, what is the Busset challenge?
But why is a mama out here doing this? That goes back to what I said on the
mama and grandma, baby. They got
why do we have to pigeonhole our sexuality? Why do women have to pigeonhole our sexuality? I feel like it's a liberation that's going on with these women. Some of them should not be doing it, but if they want to do it, that should be their choice.
So I don't want my mama to do
like, well, woman's sexuality should be able to be her choice if she wants to display it or not, because nowadays we are being attacked.
Not when you have children. Not when you have children. You decide to be a mama. If you want to, display your sexuality, be single. don't have a husband, don't have little boys and girls out here you raising, because now guess what? You come second. You don't come
That's
first.
right.
What you want ain't first no more. Your
That's
primary, you secondary. So
But
it's
most of our women who have children are now single. So now we got to bring that portion back into this conversation, because we have
single,
women
but they
who
have
don't want to be
children.
thrown away.
But they
No,
have
but here's
children.
the
You
thing,
can't be out here doing no busted baby, busted challenge, and
I'm not
you gotta,
doing it either way it goes. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I just feel like as women, we are always attacked for our sexuality. And
no,
I
we're not
believe
attacked for our sexuality. Here it is. As women, we have done what society, what the media has done, and we're capitalizing on our sexuality just as much as the media and everyone else is.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
sexuality is something that you should, like, I'm sexy and I'm all fully clothed. You can have sexuality
Right.
without your ass being naked and doing the busting
Right.
move. Like,
But
it's
then you
something
got artists that talk about consuming sperm. Like, I don't spit, I swallow. How is that on the radio?
We're not being attacked for our sexuality. What is happening is too many women are defining their value by just
sex.
their sexuality.
Exactly.
And they're doing these challenges because you're seeking attention. And so when you have, someone who is in their 20s next to their mama in their 40s and their grandmama in their 60s, and they all doing the busted challenge.
Right.
Yeah. At no point is that okay, because this is not about sexuality. This is about sex, and it becomes about attention. And when you are 40 and you're doing that, and you're 50, that reeks of you're desperate and you're trying to find a man, but that's not what you're going to find. Any man who sees you doing the busted challenge, the drop it low, the this, the that, let me tell you something. He ain't trying to take you home and or to church. He trying to take you home so you can bust it baby on him. He wants you to bust it down challenge all across him. So
Carlos made the comment about the 2 Live Crew, but the difference is, Carlos, and unfortunately it's not fair. Social media, we didn't have social media. So we listened to 2 Live Crew, but hell, some of us had to sneak and listen to it. We wasn't putting it worldwide and saying the lyrics. Like, our mamas ain't even know we had 2 Live Crew. So I do get
exactly.
And I think the difference is, and Pastor Sherry said it, this generation, the trend is the culture. I always say, because I listened to that music, but I didn't try to live that life. Like, I understood it was entertainment. I used to literally be in the moon in Tallahassee.
Hello, somebody.
And that's give me a bottle and an MF cup.
And
I used to be singing that song, Simone, with a fruit punch. I didn't even
drink a solo cup
because I was not trying to live that life. Now, when they make something about popping purple pills and blue pills and Hennessy together, like, these babies really doing it. We understood that it was entertainment. We understood that it was not real life. And so I hear what you're saying, Carlos, but at the same time, we knew that there was a hard line between entertainment and life. These babies trying to live entertainment. They're trying to live these lives that these superstars living, and it's coming out very tragic. And you know that about Daytona personally. We got too many zombies walking around there because they listen to those songs and they doing those things. We listened to those songs and they were just songs that we listened to in the club. We didn't try to live that life. So while I agree with you, I got to beg to differ.
But that's when we talked about having they have no social skills. And so because they have no social skills, and because their parents are trying to be their friends, there is no separation. I can't with him. There is no separation between what they see. And here's the thing. The other part of that is these YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are raising your children. They're being raised, and because that's how they're being raised, there is no right or wrong, because they doing what their friend is doing. I saw a girl sucking a doorknob, and I was just like, now I hope she at the bare minimum wipe this thing down. So
what was it? Was a challenge. It was a what was going on?
Here's the thing. Everything is a challenge now. I mean, breathing is a
Amen.
challenge, right? They
Lord,
need
ain't
to
that
do
the
Lord.
truth, girl?
they
If I
need to
see
do
one
the
more
same.
challenge here, if I see them
Yeah.
with one more
Yeah.
challenge,
I
Joyous,
mean,
I
and
can't take it,
Stiletto.
and I ain't
But
Mm-hmm.
we
participating
live
in
in
none
a
of
different time.
But yeah, no,
Mhm.
she was sucking, giving the doorknob, closed doorknob head, and I just was like, I don't even understand what I like. I don't understand, and I just was, yeah, wow. And so
Well,
there,
to me, it feels like it was a divine plan to destroy our communities, and the first way they were able to do it was through the music. Like, you gotta realize this is a structural plan. Everything we're talking about is
I
systematic.
don't
From
think
the
and
that.
I
birth.
agree with you, Nicole. I agree, but at the same time, we play a part in that because it could
Yes, we
not
do.
destroy us if we did not fall for it. You can't fall
That's
for the
right.
banana in the tailpipe. If you know that's what they're doing, again, how are you fighting against it? Like I always say this, and somebody
Right.
said it earlier, and Simone, no, I said this on the last show. A lot of people out here trying to like they're trying to save their communities and save, but your ass ain't saving your own house. Save your house first.
Oh,
Save your house.
amen.
Save your house and then go work on this community because I need
Yeah.
for you to work on your
Mhm.
household first. Because again, we
Yeah.
are falling for the banana in the tailpipe. That's why, again, my babies are woke.
Mhm.
I had those conversations with my children. My children know about the music. They know about the challenges. Like I talk to them at 8 and 10 because, like Simone said, if I don't, somebody else is.
Mhm.
They
Can
talk
I
about
ask Joy a question? I want to ask her a question. She's the youngest one on the panel. Do you feel that the type of music is allowing the younger men to come to you with more disrespect or more sexual preference up front with our girls? And that's just a curiosity question coming from an older woman who ain't dated in 20, 30 years. Talk to me. Is it the music that's causing them to come to you all more disrespectful, more let me get that first before I settle down with you?
I don't think every guy is gonna come up to a female disrespectful, like, you know, asking for sexual favors. It just depends on what type of chick she is. If she seems or looks promiscuous, or if she's on the internet doing everything that we're talking about, the Blessed Challenge, you know, always in bikinis. And another thing that I was having a conversation, I see a lot of females, they have photo shoots and they always naked in their photo shoots, and they'll cover their chest with their arm. They'll have on, you know, lingerie. And my mom, like, y'all are not paid professional models. Like, what is you getting out of it by posting
Good
these?
point, baby girl. Yes.
It's attention.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Like.
you're not a model. You haven't been any shows. Like, I could understand if you're pursuing a modeling career, but if your social media is just always in your bikini, you know, you on live posting in, you know, your bra and stuff like that, guys gonna come at you.
I was gonna say, don't get mad how they come at you. That's right, Joy.
Whatever you put out, you know, they gonna take that and they'll say, okay, she down for the get down.
That's what's up.
And then, you know, they'll DM you, you know, hey, they'll try to talk to you at, you know, late hour or something like that. Or, you know, they'll, you know, pursue you to try to get what they want, and they ain't gonna take you serious because if you putting yourself out on the internet, everybody see, you know, so it's just like, no, I feel like guys know who to try and who not to try.
That's right, Joyous. That's right.
Good. You got a good head on your shoulder, girl.
I mean, and it's been like that. It's been like that. Like the only thing difference now is that it's the social media is magnifying it, but guys knew who to try before. It's just now we see it all on social media. The boys knew who the fast girls were. They knew who the girls were that were trying, that was out there to get that kind of attention. Like don't be mad at the attention you get. Like when you shooting for it, you can't be mad about what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or to your point, Joyous, I see a lot of pictures online, and it's just like, why all your pictures are from the back with you looking over your shoulder? Do you not have a front? I don't like, and it's like everybody's
for
like,
me, who's talking to them? Because, and that's again about being authentic friends. Like and my circle is small for a reason. It's because I'm not going to deal with people that I can't have that real conversation with. Because I'm that friend that's gonna say, dang girl, like every picture you take, you giving them the back shot. What's going on? Like, what you need? I'm gonna have that conversation with you. You know, I have friends, Nakia, that call me something like, Doc, you ain't what's up? You ain't like my picture. I'm like, girl, I couldn't like that post. I couldn't like it. I couldn't even bring myself to press the like because I would have been lying. And so many of us lie. Social media calls us to lie to our friends too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do
Living for life.
a post. I'm not gonna like that because that's against what I stand for. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And we again, you gotta understand how honest you are with your people. Because some of y'all be promoting that foolishness.
I was just about to say it.
And I think it starts like, I think that women that do them things, I know they definitely seeking for attention because I don't think that they have any upcoming gigs where they gonna be in photo shoots or like, you know, doing some professional
social media model.
I think back to what we were saying, that not having a father in a home, because if a female grew up never having, you know, even a brother, because a brother can take place, you know, of your father being, you know, absent. I feel like when a female never even experience, you know, what it's like to have a father, they're gonna search for that love, you know, out here in the streets with these guys. And, you know, in order for them to feel like somebody loves me, they're gonna, you know, whatever it is that guy wants, they're gonna, you know, give them that because they want to feel love. They want to be cuddled or something like that. You know, they want to, I guess, have a guy to embrace them or to love them because they didn't get it from their dad.
And that's been going on too, Joyce. That ain't just start. That ain't
that's a big
start. But again, it just goes to again how we holding our friends accountable, how we having the conversation with them. Because I didn't have a dad. My father wasn't in my life. And while I didn't behave in that way, I probably did have some remnants of it. I was probably harder. I was more like distrustful of men because of that. I wasn't the one that was like running to them. I was the one like, nah, you get giving you the elbow. You getting the stick on because I'm not trusting men. And so I do agree, but that again comes to the types of conversations we as women are having with our sisters, our nieces, our daughters, our granddaughters, our friends. Like I remember being at FAMU and a group of us, like all of us, and I, you know, I'm an open book, y'all know that. We were molested. All of us had a group. We had created a group at FAMU because all of us were molested by whoever, brothers, uncles, friends in the neighborhood. And we were talking about, you know, how that affected us and how it affected us and how we date and how we respond to men. You know, some of us were promiscuous. Some of us thought that we wanted to be homosexual. Like, and we worked through that together as a girl group. And I don't think that happens enough anymore. People promote the foolishness. People promote the negativity. And again, that's probably why I don't deal with a lot of people, because I'm only going to be authentic with you. And I always tell people, always consider the source. When you get information, consider the source. Consider someone's motives and their motivations. I don't never want nothing for you but the best. Now, if you thinking you think I'm hating, because I ain't got nothing to hate on. Nothing. That means that you and I probably don't need to be cool. And I just think we have to get back to that. Like, as Black women, we've gotten away from, we were doing better and we're now doing worse as it is of supporting and uplifting each other. Like Nikisha said, it's a lot of fake book. Like, we all fake book friends, and you know that's your girl, but you talking about her. You like a post and then text 3 different people like, girl, you seen what she posted up there? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm just not gonna like it. And if you ask me why I didn't like it, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it, and I didn't want to be fake and like something that I didn't agree with. We got to be better as women. The only way it gets better, y'all, you know, and we getting ready to round it up. But the only way it gets better, guys, we are the queens of this earth. I always say that we are we're the mother. We're the mother of the earth, of this planet. It's not going to get better until we get better, you know, and unfortunately, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. Is it fair? It's not fair, but it is what it is. And that's why I am vowing that in 2020, and I vowed in 2020, 2021 and beyond, I'm only going to be lifting up my sisters. I'm only going to be upholding them. I'm only going to be speaking positivity and truth. And if that's not what you're about, we just can't be down. You know, I be seeing people talking about they cutting people out their life. Yeah, I'm a love people, but I'm only going to be rocking with those that's rocking, and that's just. And we got to all be that way. You guys see the women that I bring on this show. I don't deal with a lot of women. You know, I don't. Sometimes it's the same women over and over again. I don't, because we so difficult. I speak to a lot of people, but I don't deal with a lot of people. You best believe I've asked you to come on my show is because I respect you. It's because I honor the woman that you are, and I know the energy that you're going to put forth in the atmosphere, because I only want like energy out here sharing my space with me. And so with that being said, we gotta, like I think Jay Music said it earlier. He said we got to get an encouragement challenge, y'all. We got to start battling all these other challenges. We got to come out with our own challenge and see if we can get people. Hell, let's have a, y'all see what I do. I post a daily post every day. Let's have a daily positivity challenge. Let's have an upliftment challenge, because you gotta counteract that negativity. But you can only put darkness out with light, and we have to start being the light that we want to see. Like I said, you're only going to see change if you be the change. And so hopefully, you know, we'll all take it upon ourselves to say, you know what, I'm charging myself with. First, I'm getting my household in order, because you can't build out here in these streets when your house ain't in order. Get your house in order and then help build these streets, because it's a lot of work to be done. And again, you know, it's only going to get done if we do it. So I'll let you ladies have your parting words.
Well, I enjoyed the show. The topics was very interesting, and I think we grabbed a lot of people's attention with the topics that we were discussing. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Joyce. We enjoyed you. We always love to have our babies on here, and you are a bright light. You know, we need more of our young babies speaking like you. You know, I wish I was
so proud of you. So proud of you.
I did not. I was not this.
Didn't have it together like that. Yeah.
I wasn't this articulate. I wasn't this sure about myself. And so kudos to your parents and your village for making sure that you're grounded.
And you're doing an outstanding job. Outstanding.
So I wanted to say that to you publicly.
Thank you.
Next.
Well, I would like to thank you for having this platform, Melissa. I've seen your growth. I've been your friend since, I'm sorry, Dr. Chester. I've been your friend before the titles and the marriages and the babies. So it's just a joy to see a Black woman grow and to see you as my friend and to know you and love you. I'm just honored. I'm in awe of you and your husband and your beautiful family. And I just want you to continue to press and continue to be that support system and keep encouraging, because you do a phenomenal job in motivating. God has a beautiful calling on your life, and I want to be there to witness it. I'm so proud of you and your husband. You all have strengthened us. You encourage us. And if I could grow up to be like you, I'll be an honor. So thank you for being my friend, my sister, and my motivation.
And I thank you, Nicole, for always taking everything I say, you, because you know how I feel about you. That's the one thing Nicole has been, like you said, she's known me from the, we can't even talk about it days.
Right.
we can't even talk about. But the one thing is she's always allowed me to speak honestly to her. And she's always done the same to me. And I do appreciate your honesty, your truth and love. And you know, Mama, you gonna get it. You gonna get it. I know you are.
I'm praying. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it was nice meeting you. Simone. We have so much in common. I'm 46. I'll be 47 this year. So it's an honor to be next to a real queen. And I wish you the best.
Thank you so much. You know, I enjoyed. I've been on the show several times, and it is always, and I think it's really based on all of the different personalities. I think you're a really good manager of personalities, Doc. But I always get something out of every show, and I think that it's important that for as much as we put out and we pour out and we share our opinions, that we're also able to be receptive to not only the things that we hear, but that we also are open to applying those things. Because I think there are different, I think anyone can be a teacher, but I say that by saying you can learn a lesson from anyone. And you just have to be open to it. So, you know, I think, you know, one of the things that I got from you, Joyous, is that you know, there is never an age where, or a number where you say that I got it, right?
Right.
And that it's never, it's especially with our kids, that it's never too early, because it's your responsibility to really be the caretaker of that knowledge, that is poured into that individual. And then I think, you know, Nicole, one of the things that I got from you is that, you know, you have to follow where your heart leads you. I say, my friends say this all the time because I say it all the time. I'm okay with me. And so you got to be okay with you and your decisions and where that thing that is you leads you. And then Nakia,
Thank you for
you
that.
know, you're so funny. You're so quiet. Well, one of the things that I got from you is that you just have to be, present. You have to be present, you know, no matter how spread you are in your day, you still got to be present. So,
Amen.
and Doc, I always get something from you. You know, my thing to you, and we were talking about this the other day, is I'm always saying to you, but your face though. Right? I'm always saying, you always putting them deep dish dimples out on people. They don't get it. Y'all don't take them dimples to play with, because they will take you down the wrong road. But I think, you know, you're always very open. You know what I mean? And I think that it allows people in turn to be open and to be vulnerable on your panel. So that's what I got out of today.
Thank you for always being willing to come share with me, friend. My friend, whenever I call her, she say, sure. You know, and I can tell you when you hosted when I wasn't there, they made me mad. It's my your protege. I said, I ain't got no protege. Don't be trying to take, she tried to take my show. They said you did an awesome job when my phone was acting up. And
Yeah, that's what I was cell phone.
Huh? When
that's what I was cell phone.
No, that was my computer, my internet. But you're always willing to
David.
for me, and I appreciate that. You always come in with that, you know, that balance.
Come on,
That you know, and I'm thankful. We haven't known each other long, but you know, you've become very, very close to me. So I'm thankful for your friendship.
Time ain't nothing but a number.
Time ain't nothing but a quality over quantity. You know, I always say that.
Absolutely.
And Nakia, Miss Coleman. So cute. Your parting words.
Quiet. But my phone,
She is not quiet. Yeah, it's her phone.
Not at all in my quiet. It's my service. I'm hating because I have so much to say. But I want to thank Dr. Chester. Thank you for having me on. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. This platform is so necessary. More of this in our community as women, as African Americans, as people uplifting each other, discussing the real issues at hand, and just being honest, hearing someone else's perspective, someone else's point of view. I think this is necessary so much. So thank you, Dr. Chester. Thank you, Simone and Nicole and Joyous. I enjoyed being on this platform with you today. I hope you have me back.
I'm going to have you back. We're going to make sure you have some better service.
Make it to be so choppy. But yes.
We're going to make sure you have some better service. And Nakia, she really does talk more, guys. Me and Nakia have had deep conversations. She has a lot to say, and I was like, I want you to come on and share it. So I'm going to make sure she comes back on another platform. She's going to make sure she's in a place where her service is better. Are you on your phone, Nakia? Is it your phone? That's why. You probably on the laptop.
On the laptop.
You.
Next time, email it to me.
Okay, I'll send it to you on email.
And then I can pull it up that way. I couldn't get it on my computer. Well,
I'll make sure to email it to you.
So I'll be prepared next time.
Okay. Well, I again thank you, Queens, for sharing my space with me. I totally appreciate you. We will do it again soon. Like I said, it's Black History Month. So what better way to start Black History Month than with some beautiful Black queens talking about life and love and relationships and just how we better serve our communities. And so thank you, ladies, so much for joining me. And guys, we will be back next week and we'll have the men. So it'll just be the guys next week. And then we'll bring the guys and the girls on. So the guys said they wanted their own little platform. They didn't want us cutting in on them. So they'll be on
Valentine's episode.
Oh, is that next week or the week after?
The week after, the week that you bring
Oh,
everybody.
the Valentine, we're going to all be on here together. And we're going to be, yes, the Valentine episode. You know,
Hey,
we
no,
gotta
I told
find
you,
out what's
nobody
going
gets
on
a
with
weekend
Valentine's
off.
Day.
No
So
weekends off in the month of February.
Yes, Lord. You know, this is the month that people break up, and yeah, we're going to talk about all that in a week or so. Not next week, but the week after. So, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope to see you next Wednesday at 9. Enjoy the rest of your winning Wednesday. Thank you, Queens. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, Queen.
Bye.